Good morning. The last class we studied the reflection and transmission of electromagnetic wave in a dielectric medium. When the wave is incident, normally on the surface, the wave is incident perpendicular to the interface. Now we consider a general case where the wave is incident on the interface making an angle theta with normal. So in that case, we will call it as oblique incidence, and we will find the transmitted transmission coefficient and the reflection coefficient in this normal, in this oblique incidence. Also, we will obtain the loss of reflection and refraction from this oblique incidence for electromagnetic wave. So we will be calculating the reflection and we will be finding the reflection and transmission coefficient at the oblique incidence. Reflection and transmission at the oblique incidence. Normal incidence we can obtain as a special case of this oblique incidence where theta equal to the angle of incidence is equal to 0, then it is called a normal incidence. Consider an interface. As before, we are taking an interface this is a direction, then this one is x direction, perpendicular to that we are having y direction. So this is z direction, this one is x direction, and this one is x direction, z, this one is y direction, positive y direction. This is medium 1, here it is medium 2. Medium 1 is having permeability mu1, permittivity epsilon 1, speed v1, and its uh, propagation constant k1. I am not writing k1 because k is a quantity which depends on the direction. Magnitude will be same, but for incident wave and reflected wave, they are uh, incident obliquely, so the direction will be different for different waves. So I will be writing ki for incident wave vector and kr for reflected wave vector and kt for transmitted wave vector. This is mu2 epsilon 2, and in speed in that medium I am taking it as mu2. And now consider a wave is incident obliquely. Here the wave is incident obliquely. So this is the direction of incidence of wave, and the some part of wave will be reflected, this reflected wave, and some part of wave will be transmitted through this medium. So here this represents the incident wave, and this one represents the reflected wave, and this represents the transmitted wave. So this is incident on this interface. This is making an angle. This angle of incidence, I am taking theta I, and this is reflected from this interface, and this is making an angle theta r, and this transmitted wave which is emerging at a different angle from incident angle. So this angle I am taking it as transmission angle theta t. So the wave vectors associated this with this. So this is direction of incident wave. So incident wave vector ki will be along the direction of propagation of this wave. This is reflected wave. So kr reflected wave vector will be along the direction of propagation of this wave, and this is transmitted wave, so kt, transmitted wave vector will be along the direction of propagation of this wave, along the direction of propagation of this one. Now the wave vector, the electric and magnetic field vectors associated this wave, since this is direction of propagation of wave, its electric field vector should be perpendicular to this one. So this represents the electric field vector EI. Now what about magnetic field vector? Magnetic field vector BI. BI should be K cross EI by omega. So this is the expression for magnetic field vector K cross E by omega. So K cross E, it should be along K cross E. So K is along this direction and E is along this direction. So perpendicular to this K and E, I am taking the polarization along this plane. This plane means this is Z and this direction is X. So this plane of this paper is XZ plane. So let us assume the wave is polarized, incident wave is polarized along the XZ plane. So the direction of electric field vector is XZ plane, and direction of incident wave vector is also along the XZ plane. So the KI and EI are along the XZ plane. If KI and EI are along the XZ plane, then what about the magnetic field vector? It should be perpendicular to KI and EI. So therefore the magnetic field BI is perpendicular to both KI and EI. That means if KI and EI are along XZ plane, magnetic field should be perpendicular to XZ plane. The direction perpendicular to XZ plane is Y. So BI is, therefore BI is along Y direction. If you fix the direction of propagation and electric polarization along the XZ plane, so KI and EI are taking along the XZ plane, then BI should be along the Y direction. So the magnetic field here, the magnetic field is along the Y direction, so it should be along positive. This magnetic field should be along positive Y direction. This magnetic field is along positive Y direction. Now in this case, the electric field vector should be perpendicular to EI. Electric field vector is perpendicular, so this is ER, reflected wave, ER. Then K cross E, what about K cross E? When you take K cross E, cross product of K and E, this will be along the negative Y direction. Magnetic field BR should be along the negative Y direction. Here the magnetic field, electric field is perpendicular to this one, E transmitted. Then what about magnetic field? Magnetic field will be K cross E. K cross E is direction perpendicular to these two. That will be along the perpendicular direction, means that will be along the positive Y direction. This is B transmitted. So the magnetic field vectors are along is a positive Y direction, along Y direction. Incident and transmitted wave magnetic fields are along positive Y direction, and the reflected magnetic field is along the negative Y direction. Now we can write the wave vectors associated with the incident, reflected and transmitted wave. The wave vectors associated with the incident wave, we are assuming monochromatic plane wave. Suppose the wave is monochromatic plane wave. Since it is monochromatic wave, A monochromatic wave means it is having only one frequency, and during reflection and transmission, the the frequency remains constant. Since it is a monochromatic wave, let omega be the angular frequency of wave which remains constant during reflection and transmission. Omega remains constant during reflection and transmission. So the wave vector can be the electric and magnetic field vectors can be written as here the wave is incident at an angle theta I. So let theta I be the angle of incidence. It is not equal to theta I, not equal to 0. That's why it is called oblique incidence. If theta I equal to 0, then it is called normal incidence. If theta I equal to 0, it is called a normal incidence. If theta I equal to 90, if theta is equal to 90, then it is called grazing incidence. Theta I 0 is called not equal to theta I between 0 and 90, then it is called not equal to 0, not equal to 90, then it is called oblique incidence. Between 0 and 90, then it is called oblique incidence. Theta equal to 0 is called normal incidence, and theta is equal to 90 is called grazing incidence. Here we are assuming oblique incidence, and the wave vectors associated with the incident wave. Incident wave can be written as incident wave EI. Instead of ZT, it is not propagating along the Z direction. So general way we will write it as ERT. EIRT is equal to E0I E raised to I. Instead of KZ, general case we will write it as K dot R. K is incident wave vector. So Ki dot R minus omega t. The direction of polarization we can take it as n cap. The direction of this electric field vector we can take it as n cap. Then the magnetic field vector we cannot write it as x cap or y cap. It is inclined with the direction. You see the direction of electric field vector, it is not along x direction. This electric field vector is inclined with x direction. It is not along x direction. So that direction, if you want, you can take it as n cap. So BIRT is KI cross EIRT by omega. So this is the wave vector. This is the expression for magnetic field associated with the incident wave. This vector KI by omega, you can write it as Ki into unit vector along incident wave vector. So K into Ki cap, vector Ki by omega. This Ki by omega, I can write it as 1 by V1. Velocity in first medium, it is first medium. V1 equal to omega by, I can write it as Ki. First medium, the magnitude of wave vector is Ki, then it is V1 equal to omega by Ki. So if you want, you can write this K1 by Ki by omega as 1 by V1, or we can write it as Ki cap by V1. So this equation I am writing it as BI RT is equal to Ki unit vector cross EI RT by V1. This is equation number 1, and this one is equation number 2. This is incident wave vector. In a similar way, we can write the reflected wave as reflected wave vector reflected wave vector E R RT is equal to E0 R e raised to I reflected wave vector kr dot r minus omega t. Equation number 3. Magnetic field, we can write it as BRRT is equal to KR cross ERRT by omega, or the magnitude of Ki is same as the magnitude of Kr, which is first medium, so which is equal to K1. So that Kr by omega, that also I can write it as 1 by V1. So this Kr, vector Kr by omega, I can write Kr by omega into Kr unit vector. This Kr by omega is mod Kr is equal to mod Ki. So this will be 1 by V1 into Kr. So this equation I can write it as BRRT is equal to Kr unit vector cross ERRT by V1. So this is first medium, that's why velocity is V1. Magnitude of Kr and Ki are same, which is equal to K1 wave vector in first medium. In a similar way, the transmitted wave can be written as E transmitted wave, we can write it as E transmitted RT is equal to E0R e raised to I, sorry, this is transmitted wave, so E0T e raised to I K transmitted KT dot R minus omega t is equation number 4. Now B transmitted RT equal to K transmitted cross E transmitted RT by omega. So K transmitted by omega, we can write it as K transmitted magnitude into unit vector along that direction by omega. What is KT by omega? Second medium. So second medium we can write V2 equal to omega by K2. K2 is here magnitude of transmitted wave vector KT. So V2 equal to omega by K2. So we can write KT by omega, we can write it as KT cap by V2. So this equation for magnetic field vector, we can write it as B transmitted RT is equal to K transmitted unit vector cross E transmitted RT by V2. So this is equation number 5. So these are the electric and magnetic field vectors in transmitted wave. Now we will consider the frequency is same in all the medium. Since the frequency is same, omega is same for reflected and transmitted wave. For reflected and transmitted wave, the frequency, when a wave is propagating from one medium to another medium, the frequency remains constant. So for both reflected and transmitted wave, the frequency remains same. So first medium omega, actually V1 is omega by K1. So for transmitted light, we can write it as V1 equal to omega by K1 or omega equal to V1 K1. So for incident light, we can write it as V1 K1 is K incident, magnitude of Ki, vector Ki, K incident. That is equal to, for reflected wave, velocity is first medium, so velocity is V1 only, V1 into magnitude of reflected wave vector Kr. So this is V1 Ki equal to V1 Kr is equal to, for transmitted wave its velocity is V2. So V2 into magnitude of transmitted wave vector, which is Kt. Now this V1 will get cancelled, so we can write the magnitude of incident wave vector same as magnitude of reflected wave vector, which is equal to V2 by V1 into Kt. Kt is wave vector associated with the transmitted wave, its magnitude. Kt is a magnitude of wave vector associated with the transmitted wave. So we can write it as Ki equal to Kr equal to V2 by V1, or in the V2 by V1 we can write it as N1 by N2, or we can write this equation as Ki equal to Kr equal to Kr equal to N2 by, sorry, N1 by N2 Kt. Both the ways this equation we can represent. So this equation represents equation 6. Now the wave on left hand side should join with the wave on right hand side based on the boundary condition. So the boundary conditions are, the boundary conditions are epsilon on E1 perpendicular equal to epsilon to E2 perpendicular, equation number 7. B1 perpendicular equal to B2 perpendicular, equation 8. Next boundary condition is E1 parallel equal to E2 parallel, equation 9. First boundary condition is B1 parallel by mu1 equal to B2 parallel by mu2, equation 10. So we should apply the boundary conditions and we can equate the total wave electric and magnetic field vectors on the left hand side of interface to the waves on right hand side of interface based on these boundary conditions. So when we apply the boundary conditions, first boundary condition, if I am taking, we can take the field vectors, the combined fields in medium 1, combined fields in medium 1, what are they? EI plus ER and EI plus ER and BI plus BR must join with join to the fields ET and BT on medium 2 based on the above boundary conditions. Based on above boundary conditions, these fields on left hand side should join with the fields on right hand side. A generic structure, in a general way we can write the field on left hand side. Here we will be having the field vector, electric or magnetic field vector, then E raised to I for incident wave ki dot r minus omega t. The generic structure plus, in a general way we can write the boundary conditions like this. Here we will be having the amplitude of electric or magnetic field vector e raised to I k reflected dot r minus omega t. So this is the wave on left hand side is equal to the wave on right hand side. Right hand side is either electric or magnetic field. Then e raised to I k transmitted dot r minus omega t at this will be equal at z equal to 0. Z equal to 0 represents boundary. So this is equation number 11. This is equation number 11. See that equation 11 here we can fill with the condition based on this boundary condition. We can fill the electric and magnetic field vectors based on that boundary condition. Either we will be having epsilon on E0 I perpendicular, here epsilon on E0 R perpendicular, here epsilon to E0 T perpendicular, or we can have magnetic field here. So parenthesis, there should be some constant terms which represents the amplitude and the electric and magnetic properties of materials. This exponential term, this depends on k dot r. K dot r means at different r you are having different values for this exponential term. But the boundary condition, when you take any point on the boundary, if this is the boundary, if you take a point at this here, if I take a point A here, then this equation should satisfy at this point A. If I take another point B somewhere here, then also this condition should satisfy. If I take another point here C, then also this should satisfy. If I take different points, this is Z direction and this one is X direction, this is X direction, this one is Y direction. If I take A, B, C, any point on this interface, then this condition is satisfied. Z must be equal to 0 for any point on this interface. But when I take A, this X component and Y component will be different for this C. Similar way, the X and Y components will be different for B. So when I take different points on this interface, the X and Y coordinates will be different for different points. But the boundary condition should be same for any point on the boundary. That means this condition should be independent of this exponential term. As X changes or Y changes, this condition should not change. That means these all exponential terms should be same, then it will cancel each other and the boundary condition will not depend on X and Y coordinates. To make the boundary condition independent of X and Y coordinates, or to make the boundary condition, to make the boundary condition same everywhere everywhere on the interface, it should be independent of the exponential term given in equation 11. It should be independent of the exponential term given in equation 11. So the exponential term should be equal. That means ki dot r should be same as k reflected dot r. It should be same as k transmitted dot r. Or we can write ki, it's x component into x plus ki It's y component into y plus ki z component to z, but at the boundary z equal to 0, so you need not consider the z component. So we can write ki x component into x plus ki y component into y is equal to k r x component into x plus k r y component into y, which will be equal to kt x component into x plus kt y component into y. So if I restrict our wave vector along x direction, if I restrict the wave vector along x direction, if y equal to 0, then this will be ki x, its x component ki x will be equal to k r x, that will be equal to kt x. If I take x component equal to 0, if I take x component equal to 0, then we will be having ki y is equal to k r y equal to k r, sorry, kt, k transmitted z, k transmitted, sorry, not z, k transmitted y. So if I take along the x-axis, then y component is 0, y coordinate is 0. If I take along the x-axis, then also this condition should be satisfied. Then we will get the condition as kx equal to krx equal to ktx or ky equal to kry equal to kty. These equations I am taking it as equation number 12. Equation number 12. Now I will redraw the diagram for finding the components along x, y and z directions. If I redraw the diagram, that interface, I am taking the cross section of that interface. This is the interface. Now this represents the z direction, and this line represents the x direction. This is x and this is z, and perpendicular to this we will be having y direction. Then the wave is incident. This one is incident wave, and this one is reflected wave, and this is transmitted wave. And reflected wave, I am writing the incident wave, I am writing the electric field vector perpendicular to this one. For the transmitted wave, I will be having the electric field perpendicular to this one. For the reflected wave, I will be having, so I am only drawing the electric field vectors. This is electric field vector for reflected wave, and this is electric field vector for incident wave, and this is electric field vector for transmitted wave, and this is direction of propagation of incident wave. So this one is direction of wave vector of incident wave, and this is direction of wave vector of reflected wave, and this one is direction of wave vector of transmitted wave. Magnetic field will be perpendicular. Here the perpendicular direction, this perpendicular direction represents, this direction represents y axis. So here the magnetic field is into the plane, negative y direction magnetic field B R. Here the magnetic field is out of plane along the positive y direction BI. Here the magnetic field is along the positive y direction. So this is BI. And this direction, this is x direction, and this one is z direction, z, x, y. Now I will draw the components of electric field. So this one will be parallel to x direction, parallel to the interface. Also this component will be component of electric field parallel to the interface. This component will be component of electric field parallel to the interface, and this component will be component of electric field perpendicular to the interface. Here if I resolve this, then I will be having a component along this direction. This I will be having a component along this direction. So I am resolving this into different components. Now this angle is theta I, this is theta R, this one is theta transmitted, and take the components along x, y and z direction. Take the components along x, y and z direction. So this will be, what about this angle? If this is theta R, theta reflected, then this also will be, this line is perpendicular to this one, and this one, this line is perpendicular. So if theta is angle between two lines, then the angle between its perpendiculars also will be theta. So this will be theta R, and this component will be ER cos theta R, and this component will be ER sin theta R. Now take this component, this is theta R, theta I, so this angle will be theta I, then the component along this direction will be EI cos theta I, and this component will be EI sin theta I. Here this component, and here this angle will be theta transmitted, so this will be ET cos theta T, and here this one will be ET sin theta T. Now take the boundary condition. First boundary condition is epsilon on, taking first boundary condition. First boundary condition. This first boundary condition, epsilon on E1. E1 is E0 I, e raised to exponential terms are same, so need not bother about exponential terms. E0 I, which is perpendicular, so E0 I perpendicular plus E0 R perpendicular is equal to epsilon to E0 T perpendicular. So these two should be same, and we have already discussed that the exponential terms are same, so I am not writing the exponential terms here. The exponential terms will be same, so that will cancel each other. So we only need to take the amplitude whose component along perpendicular components perpendicular to the boundary. What are the components of electric and magnetic field vectors perpendicular to the boundary? Now substitute in this equation. First, take the component of E0 I perpendicular to the boundary. Perpendicular to the boundary means interface. So this one is component perpendicular to the boundary. But this component is along negative z direction. The components along negative z direction, I am giving negative sign, and the components along positive z direction, I am giving plus sign. So this will be minus EI sin theta I. So when I take the component of E0 I, EI, their exponential term also will be there. So this will be E0 I sin theta I e raised to I ki dot r minus omega t. But the exponential terms will cancel each other. So instead of this one, I can write it as epsilon 1 into E0 I. Its perpendicular component will be sin theta I, but it is along negative z direction, so I will give a negative sign here, minus. Then plus E0R. What is E0R? E0R is writing here. This equation writing here. So epsilon 1 into minus E0 I sine theta I plus E0R, its component will be, it is along positive z direction. So plus E0R sine theta R, E0R sine theta R is equal to epsilon 2 into E0T perpendicular component will be E0T, its perpendicular component will be this one. This is along negative z direction. So it is E0T sine theta T. This is E0T sine theta T, but it is minus. So E0T, this is along negative z direction. So here minus sign is there. If I cancel minus from all these terms, then I will be having epsilon 1, then epsilon 1 into E0 I sine theta I minus epsilon 1 E0 I sine theta I minus E0 R sine theta R is equal to, this minus will get cancelled. So epsilon 2 E0 T sine theta T. This equation I am taking this equation number 12, equation number 13. Equation number 13. Now the second boundary condition. Next boundary condition E0, I am taking the parallel component. Parallel component of electric field, which boundary condition? Boundary condition, parallel component of electric field 9. So taking the boundary condition 9, taking the boundary condition 9. What is 9? 9 is E1 parallel equal to E2 parallel. What is E1 parallel? E1 parallel is E0 I. What is parallel component? E0 I plus E0 I plus E0 I parallel plus E0 R parallel in the first medium is equal to E0 T parallel at Z equal to 0. The parenthesis, the exponential terms will cancel each other because all the exponential terms are the same that we discussed earlier. So take the parallel component E0 I parallel E0 I for the incident wave, its component is cos theta I. So this is EI cos theta I. EI is E0 I e raised to I ki dot r minus omega t, but e raised to I ki dot r minus omega t will cancel from all the terms. I need to write that. So I will be writing E0 I, its component will be E0 I this one cos theta I. Then this is positive x direction, that's why plus sign is given, plus E0 R cos theta R, that also is along the positive x direction. So this component is along positive x direction, so positive sign is given. This is also along positive x direction, positive sign. This is also along positive x direction, transmitted wave Et cos theta t. So this will be equal to E0t cos theta t. So this equation I am taking equation 14. Now you consider this equation k, which one? This equation 12. From equation 12, k ki y component equal to kr y component equal to kt y component. Let us take equation 12, the second part of equation 12. From equation 12, ki its y component is equal to kr whose y component is equal to kt whose y component. All these y components are same. If these y components are same, then take the y component of ki. Ki is along this direction. If I take its y component, this angle will be theta I, ki. I'm drawing the diagram here. This is interface. This one is ki, incident wave, and this is the direction. So k, this angle is theta. If this angle is theta, then if I resolve this into two components, its y component, this angle will be theta. So this component will be ki sine theta. Now for the reflected wave, this is reflected wave vector kr. Now take the component of kr. This angle is theta r. So its y component kr, its y component will be kr sine theta r. Then the transmitted wave, this is kt, this angle is theta t. So its y component, when I resolve this y component, I will be getting kt sine theta t. So substituting this value in this equation, ki sine theta I is equal to kr sine theta r is equal to kt sine theta t. We know that the modulus of wave vector ki is equal to kr, which is equal to n1 by n2 kt. Am I right? Ki kr ki equal to kr. Somewhere we have written ki equal to kr, ki equal to kr. Before that, by taking angular frequency omega, ki equal to kr equal to n1 by n2 kt. Ki equal to kr, ki equal to kr equal to n1 by n2 kt. So this ki and kr are equal. So we can write it as sine theta I. If I divide this by ki, kr by ki will be 1. So sine theta I equal to sine theta r equal to kt by ki, kt by ki sine theta t. That means sine theta I equal to sine theta r. If sine theta I equal to theta r, then theta I equal to theta r. That means the angle of incidence will be equal to angle of reflection. This is law of reflection. In laws of reflection, one more law is there: the incident ray, reflected ray, and normal lie along the same plane. That you can obtain from equation 12, condition equation 12. If you restrict, if you take y equal to 0, or if you take x equal to 0, then the wave vectors are along the same plane. That means if you restrict your wave vector, along xz plane, incident wave vector along xz plane, then the reflected wave vector and transmitted wave vector are along the xz plane. So from that equation 12, we can have the conclusion that if the incident wave vector is restricted along xz plane, then the reflected and transmitted wave vectors are along the xz plane. That gives the second statement. The incident ray incident ray, the incident ray, reflected ray, reflected ray, reflected ray, and transmitted ray are along the same plane. That plane is consisting this direction. That's why the normal these incident ray, reflected ray, and transmitted ray are along the plane in which the normal lie. So normal, incident ray, reflected ray, all these are along the same plane. Which plane is given by xz plane? That plane is given by xz plane. So this is law of reflection. In a similar way, from the sine theta is equal to kt by ka into sine theta t, from that equation, this is equation number 15. From the equating sine theta to the last part, we can write it as kt by ki. So sine theta I equal to kt by ki sine theta t. Now we know the kt by ki equal to n1 by n2. So this equation is sine theta I kt by ki. What is kt? No, sorry. Ki equal to n1 by n2 kt. Ki equal to ki equal to n1 by n2 kt. Ki equal to n1 by n2 kt. So kt by ki will be n2 by n1. So sine theta equal to kt by k is n2 by n1 sine theta t, or we can write sine theta I by sine theta t equal to n2 by n1. So this is the famous Snell's law of reflection. Refraction. This is Snell's law. The law of refraction. So these laws of reflection and refraction we can obtain from the theory of electromagnetic waves using Maxwell's equations. So this is Snell's law. So we were calculating the amplitudes of boundary conditions, the reflected wave and amplitudes of reflected wave and transmitted wave. That equations are given by equations 13 and the equation 14. I am rewriting that equation 13. Here sine theta I and sine theta r are equal. We have already shown that theta I and theta r are equal. So I will be giving theta I for this theta r, and sine theta I can be taken common from this one. So epsilon sine theta I into E0 I minus E0 r. So that equation I am writing. Equation 13 can be written as equation 13 can be written as epsilon on sine theta I, which is taken common, into E0 I minus E0 r is equal to epsilon to sine theta t E0 t. Am I right? Equation 13. Equation 13. Okay, E0 E epsilon on sine theta E0 I minus E0 r. These are complex amplitudes. Epsilon to E0 t sine theta t. Now equation 14, if I rewrite equation 14, this theta r and theta I are same. So cos theta I can be taken common. Then this equation also we can, equation 14, we can also rewrite that equation. Theta, this is 15. This one is equation 16. And this one is equation 17. And this equation, I can take this, I can simplify this equation. E0 I minus E0 r is equal to right hand side epsilon to sine theta t by epsilon on sine theta I into E0 t. This sine theta t by sine theta I, sine theta t by sine theta I, this is Sin theta I by theta t is n2 by n1. So this will be n1 by n2. So we can write this as is equal to epsilon 2 n1 by epsilon 1 n2 into E0 t. Now epsilon 2 n2 n1 by epsilon 1 n2. Epsilon 1 is n equal to root of epsilon. N equal to root of epsilon. So epsilon is n square. So we can write epsilon 2 as n2 square. This is approximately equal to. So n2 square n1 by this one is epsilon 1 is n1 square into n2. So this n1 and 2 will get cancelled. We will be having n2 by n1. So n2 by n1. This will be n2 by n1 E0t. This is n2 by n1 E0t. This I will give it as beta. Let beta equal to n2 by n1. So this is beta E0t. So I obtain one equation E0I minus E0R equal to beta E0t. This equation, what's equation number? Equation number 18. Equation number 18. Now from equation 14, what is equation 14? Equation 14 is this one. So take cos theta I common. So cos theta I into E0I plus E0R. Cos theta R is same as cos theta I. So it's equal to cos theta t into E0t. Or we can write E0I minus plus E0R is equal to cos theta t by cos theta I into E0t. Cos theta t by cos theta I. Cos theta t by cos theta I will take it as alpha. So this equation we can write it as E0I plus E0R equal to alpha E0t. This equation, equation number 19, and where alpha equal to, where this beta, this equation I am giving equation number 19, and this equation I am giving 20. This equation number 20, where alpha equal to cos theta t by cos theta I. This is equation 21. So the amplitudes, we can write the amplitude in terms of alpha and beta. If I simplify these two equations from 20 and 18, from 18 and 20, equation 18 plus 20 gives 2 E0I is equal to, right hand side we are having, here it is beta and here it is alpha. So we will be having alpha plus beta into E0t, or E0t is equal to 2 by alpha plus beta into E0I. This is equation 22. So E0t is equal to, transmitted wave amplitude is 2 by alpha plus beta E0I. Now equation 20 minus 18 gives, equation 20 minus 18. 20 minus 18 gives, 20 is E0I plus E0R, then minus E0I minus E0R. So this will be 2 E0R equal to alpha minus beta into E0, right hand side we are having E0t. So E0R equal to alpha minus beta by 2 into E0t. What is E0t? E0t is 2 by alpha plus beta into E0I. So this equation is E0R equal to alpha minus beta by alpha plus beta into E0I. This is equation number 23. So reflected wave amplitude, we can write it as alpha minus beta by alpha plus beta into E0I. And the reflected and transmitted wave amplitudes, they depends on alpha and beta values. These equations 22 and 23 are called, these equations are called Fresnel's equations. Equations are called Fresnel's equations. These equations show that the reflected and transmitted wave amplitudes depends on alpha and beta values. Beta is depending on the refractive indices of two medium, but alpha depending on angle. We know the equation for alpha. What is alpha? We have alpha equal to cos theta t by what is alpha? Cos theta t by cos theta I. Cos theta t by cos theta I. Cos theta t, we can write cos theta t in terms of sin theta t. This is root of 1 minus sin square theta t by cos theta I. Now sin theta t, sin theta I by sin theta t equal to n2 by n1. So sin theta t equal to n1 by n2 sin theta I. So this equation we can write alpha equal to root of 1 minus n1 square by n2 square sin square theta I by cos theta I. This is equation 24. So from equation 24, it is clear that the alpha value of alpha depends on the angle of incidence. As the angle of incidence changes, alpha changes. As alpha changes, the amplitude of reflected and transmitted wave changes. That means the amplitudes of this equation shows that the amplitudes of reflected and transmitted wave depends on the angle of incidence theta I. The angle of incidence theta I. For normal incidence, theta I equal to 0. If theta I equal to 0, then what is alpha? Theta I equal to 0, theta t equal to 0. So alpha is equal to cos theta t by cos theta I is equal to 1. Alpha equal to 1 means the amplitudes of reflected and transmitted waves E0R will be, what is E0R? E0R is alpha minus beta. So this is 1 minus beta by 1 plus beta into E0I, and what is E0T transmitted is 2 by 1 plus beta. 2 by 1 plus beta into E0I. So these equations are identical to that we obtained for normal incidence. So they are the same. For grazing incidence, what about grazing incidence? For grazing incidence, theta equal to 90 degree. If theta equal to 90 degree, then what will happen? Theta I, angle of incidence equal to 90. So alpha is alpha cos theta t by cos theta I. Cos theta I 90 means cos 90. Cos 90 equal to 0. 0 means alpha diverges. Alpha diverges. Alpha tends to infinity. If alpha tends to infinity, then the reflected and transmission coefficients, we can write equations 23 and 24 as, if alpha is infinite. If alpha is infinite, take this equation E0 transmitted. If alpha is infinite, alpha plus beta will be alpha. So this will be 2 by alpha. If alpha is infinite, then 2 by infinity. That will be equal to 0. So E0 t equal to 0. When alpha tends to infinity, E0 transmitted tends to 0. And E0 reflected, what about E0 reflected? E0 reflected becomes E0 reflected. Alpha infinity means alpha minus beta is alpha, alpha plus beta is alpha. So this will be alpha by alpha, alpha by alpha, this will get cancelled. Then it will be E0 R equal to E0 I. E0 R equal to E0 R equal to E0 I. E0 R equal to E0 I. That means the wave is, for grazing incidence, the wave is completely reflected and no wave is transmitted. The wave is completely reflected and no wave is transmitted. And interestingly, we can have a situation. See this equation 23. If consider a situation where alpha equal to beta, then this term becomes 0. So E0 R becomes 0. So interestingly, we can have a situation where the reflected wave is extinguished. So we can have, in between that, we can have a situation where the reflected wave is extinguished. Reflected wave E0 R equal to 0. We can have a situation where E0 R equal to 0 when beta equal to alpha. So the reflected wave is extinguished. There will be only transmitted wave. No wave will be reflected, and we can have a particular situation, and the angle corresponds to that situation. The angle of incidence theta I corresponds to that situation. Is called, that angle is called a Brewster's angle. That angle is called a Brewster's angle, and we will denote that by theta b. That angle is called a Brewster's angle, and we will denote that by theta b. So in that situation, we can write beta equal to alpha. What is alpha? From equation 24, alpha is 1 minus n1 square by n2 square sine square theta by cos theta. So we can write it as beta equal to alpha at theta equal to theta b, or we can write it as beta equal to alpha is root of 1 minus n1 square by n2 square sine square theta I by cos theta I, and this beta value is n2 by n1. So this we can write it as 1 by beta square, and cos theta I am taking to left hand side and squaring that, we will be having beta square cos square theta I is equal to, actually this theta is theta b. So this angle I can write it as theta b. Instead of theta I will be writing theta b. These angles I am writing theta b, Brewster's angle, theta b, this is theta b, cos square theta b is equal to 1 minus, squaring this, so 1 minus, this will be 1 by beta square sine square theta b. Cos square theta b, I can write it as beta square into 1 minus sine square theta b equal to 1 minus 1 by beta square sine square theta b. The sine square theta b I am taking to right hand side. This 1 is taken to left hand side. So left hand side beta square into 1. This is beta square. Then minus 1 is equal to this beta square sine square theta b minus that is taken to right side. So beta square sine square theta b minus 1 by beta square sine square theta b. So from that I am taking left hand side beta square minus 1. Right hand side I am taking sine square theta b by beta square into this one is beta raised to 4 minus 1, or we can write this as sine square theta b by beta square into this is beta square minus 1 into beta square plus 1, that will be beta raised to 4 minus 1. Left hand side we are having beta square minus 1, so this term and this one will get cancelled. From that 1 equal to sine square theta b by beta square into beta square plus 1. From that calculate sine square theta b. Sine theta b equal to beta square by 1 plus beta square. This is sine square theta b. For sine theta b equal to beta by root of 1 plus beta square. If sine theta b equal to beta by root of 1 plus beta square, then we can take beta as tan theta b, because sin theta b equal to tan theta b by root of 1 plus tan square theta b. So we can take beta as tan theta b. What is beta? Beta equal to n2 by n1. So we can write n2 by n1 equal to tan theta b. So this is our famous Brewster's law. So this is equation number 25. So this one is equation number 25. So this is equation number 25. Equation 25 gives this is our famous Brewster's law. So at Brewster's angle, the complete wave is transmitted. No wave will be reflected through the medium. Then if I draw the variation of amplitudes of wave, if I draw the variation of amplitude of wave, y direction, I am taking the amplitude of wave. This angle I am taking from 0 to this angle x-axis I am taking theta I, angle of incidence, and this angle is 0, and here it is 90 degree. Angle of incidence I am taking 0 to 90, and this topmost point let it be 1, and this is 0.2 minus 0.2, this is 0.2, 0.4, etc. 0.2, 0.4, 0.8 up to 1. So if I draw the variation of E0R, what is E0R? Equation E0R equal to E0R is alpha minus beta by alpha plus beta into E0I. So take the ratio E0R by E0I. For my convenience, I am representing this. Representing E0 ratio, E0R by E0. E0R by E0I will be alpha minus beta by alpha plus beta. So for small angles, alpha is cos theta t by cos theta I. If theta I is very small, alpha will be for small angles of alpha. If I consider small angles of alpha, this is ratio of reflected wave amplitude to incident wave amplitude. If alpha less than beta, if I can have the reflected wave amplitude 0 when alpha equal to beta. Alpha equal to beta, let it be at this point. Brewster's angle I am taking at this point theta b. So this is theta I equal to theta b. At that point, the reflected amplitude will be 0. So E0R by E0I will be 0. At this point, E0I by E0R will be 0. Now, if alpha is greater than beta, take 90 when theta equal to 90, alpha equal to 1. If theta equal to 90, alpha equal to 1. sorry, theta equal to 90, alpha is infinite. When alpha is infinite, complete wave will be reflected and no wave will be transmitted. So at as alpha increases beyond this value, if alpha increases, then this reflectance increases and it reaches maximum reflectance is 1. So it reaches 1 when theta equal to 90. That means at theta equal to 90 only the reflected wave will be there, no wave is transmitted. So complete part is contribution from reflected wave. If theta is below theta b, then this term E0 R by E0, if alpha is less than beta, if alpha, when it goes beyond this one, alpha greater than beta, so it will increase in positive side. If alpha is less than beta, then it will decrease like this. So if alpha is less than beta, it is in negative side, and if alpha equal to, if theta equal to 0, theta equal to 0 means when theta equal to 0, alpha equal to 1. So this equation becomes 1 minus beta by 1 plus beta, and beta value is n2 by n1. If it is passing from rarer to denser medium, n2 greater than n1, so beta is greater than 1. So 1 minus beta by 1 plus beta. If beta is greater than 1, then this will be negative, and we are assuming that it is passing from rarer to denser medium. So beta is greater than 1, and when alpha equal to 1, this 1 minus this quantity will be negative. That's why this value shows negative here. So this represents E0 R by E0 T variation. When alpha equal to beta, it will become 0. When alpha greater than beta, it will increase, and when alpha is infinite, only transmitted wave, only reflected wave, no wave will be transmitted. In a similar way, when you draw the transmitted wave, the amplitude of transmitted wave, what is the expression for transmitted wave? E0 t is equal to, E0 t is 2 by, what is E0 t? E0 t is 2 by alpha plus beta. E0 t is 2 by alpha plus beta into E0, or E0 t by E0 I will be 2 by alpha plus beta. As angle of incidence increases, alpha increases. As alpha increases, this term decreases. So when alpha is 1, alpha is minimum, this is maximum. So maximum value of this one, if it is minus 0.2, then it can only be 0.8. So this will, total of this one will be 1. So minus 0.2 to 0, it is 0.2, then here it is 0.8. So the total value, we should keep it 1. So as alpha increases, this value decreases, and when alpha becomes infinite, or when theta equal to 90 degree, this will reach 0. So it will be like this. Should reach like this. So this is the variation of E0 transmitted by E0 I, the ratio of transmitted wave to incident wave. So this is the variation of amplitudes of, so this figure represents the variation of relative amplitudes of reflected and transmitted wave with respect to that of incident wave. Now we calculate the intensity of wave. When you calculate the intensity of wave is energy propagated per unit area per unit time in a direction normal to the interface. In this case, the wave is not propagating normal to the interface, it is making an angle theta. So the intensity of wave you can calculate by using the dot product of pointing vector with the normal direction. Normal direction interface is like this, and its normal direction is z direction. So this is the normal direction, this is z direction, but our wave is incident like this. So vector s is along the direction of propagation. Take the component of this s along the z direction. This component of s along the z direction give the energy propagated normal to the surface. That will give the intensity. Intensity is energy propagating per unit area per unit time normal to the surface. That's why we are taking s dot z. So for incident wave, it is making an angle theta I. So incident wave intensity, you can take it as s. I incident, you can take it as s, and the dot product will be cos theta. So this will be cos theta. What is s? S is half v epsilon E0 square. Half v epsilon E0 square. So our intensity expression for intensity will be half v epsilon E0 square cos theta. So the intensity of incident wave, we can write this intensity of incident wave as I equal to half V1 epsilon on E0 I square cos theta I. Now what is intensity of reflected wave? Half first medium, so V1 first medium epsilon on E0 R square cos theta R, but theta R is same as theta I. Now the intensity of transmitted wave, half second medium V2 epsilon to E0 T square cos theta T. Now you calculate the reflection coefficient and transmission coefficient. The reflection coefficient R equal to intensity of reflected wave by intensity of incident wave equal to, when you take the ratio of these two, this epsilon on V1 will cancel, cos theta R and cos theta I will get cancelled, since theta I equal to theta R. So we will be having E0 R square by E0 I square. So we are having reflection coefficient as E0 R by E0 I. E0 R by E0 I is alpha minus beta by it is alpha minus beta by alpha plus beta the whole square. So reflection coefficient is alpha minus beta by alpha plus beta. This is equation number 26. Equation number 26. Now the transmission coefficient, when you calculate the transmission coefficient T equal to half transmitted intensity of transmitted wave I transmitted by I incident. It is half V2 epsilon to E0 T square cos theta T by half V1 epsilon on E0 I square cos theta I. So this ratio, this will be V2 epsilon 2 by V1 epsilon on. What is cos theta T by cos theta I? Cos theta T by cos theta is alpha. So this term I can take it as alpha E0 T square by E0 I square. Now V2 epsilon 2 by V1 epsilon on. V2 epsilon 2. V2 by V1 is N1 by N2 into epsilon 2 is n2 square by epsilon 1 is nn square. So this is equal to n2 by n1. What is n2 by n1 is beta. So this term we can write it as beta. So we are having alpha beta into E0 t square by E0 I square. E0 t square by E0 I square is 2 by alpha plus beta. So this is 2 by alpha plus beta the whole square. So it is 4 by alpha plus beta the whole square. Or transmission coefficient we can write it as t equal to 4 alpha beta by alpha plus beta the whole square. So this is equation number, what is equation number for this one? Equation number 27. Equation number 27. So we have obtained the reflection and the transmission coefficients, and we can show that the total reflection coefficient plus transmission coefficient, this is alpha minus beta by alpha plus beta the whole square plus 4 alpha beta by alpha plus beta the whole square, that will be equal to 1. So the total energy is energy is conserved. So these are the reflection and transmission coefficient. So we can obtain all the relations that you have studied in the case of optics using the theory of electromagnetic waves. So this all about. One more thing I forgot. We need to draw the variation of reflection and the transmission coefficient. That also we will draw here. The variation of reflection and the transmission coefficient. Variation of R and T with theta I. Angle of as angle of incidence changes, the reflection coefficient and transmission coefficient also changes. That variation, similar to the variation of electric field vector, we can draw the variation of reflection and transmission coefficient. So this value, this is, let it be theta equal to 90, and this one. So here it is theta, x direction we are marking theta. This is theta 0, and here it is theta 90, and let this angle be Brewster's angle, theta equal to theta b. At this angle, this Brewster's angle, and the reflection coefficient, which is square of alpha minus beta by alpha plus beta. So we have drawn like this in the case of amplitude. When you take the square of that one, it will be positive. So we will be having, this is 0 and this is 1. So here also we will be having positive reflection coefficient since it is square of amplitude. So at theta b, the reflection, this represents the reflection coefficient. Theta b, the reflection coefficient becomes 0, then it increases and it becomes 1 when theta equal to, it becomes 1 when theta equal to 90 degree, and the transmission coefficient, this is somewhere here, the total should be 1, and at theta equal to theta b, at this angle, it is the reflection coefficient is 0, the completely transmitted, it will be completely transmitted. So here the transmission is maximum 1, and beyond that the transmission coefficient decreases and reaches 0. So this is the variation of reflection and transmission coefficient. This upper part represents the variation of transmission coefficient. Always the sum should be 1. R plus T, that should be equal to 1. When reflection coefficient is 1, transmission coefficient should be 0. When reflection coefficient is 0, transmission coefficient should be 1. So this represents the variation of reflection and transmission coefficient. This is all about the reflection and transmission at oblique incidence. Thank you.